Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, we're pleased to bring you a new episode of The Rope That Binds Us, ahlusunnah waljama'aah. We were talking last episode about the madahib, the school of thoughts and fiqh, and we said that the existence of their madahibs is actually a positive, it's very positive for the fiqh or the Islamic fiqh, the Islamic ruling. And we said also that we talked a little bit about the historical background about these madhabs and the existence of these madhabs, and we came to know that there is more than 4 madhabs, but these 4 are the most known and the one who survived until today for several reasons, and no doubt one of them the greatness of these imams. And we think that inshallah they were so sincere that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spread their knowledge all over the world since they were exist or they came to this world until today. And also because they had great students who really worked hard to spread their teachers' knowledge, and also because of the support of some leaders and governments and kings through the history of Islam, who supported so many madhabs, and they made some of them even superior over others. And also we came to know that in some time there were wrong behavior and wrong way of dealing with the madhahib, that people abuse other madhabs if they don't belong to their madhabs, and to the extent it reached that physically fight and killing each other and fighting over taking the leadership position in the society or the community, or to be the judge. All these examples are sad examples. We don't want it to have it again in our society, because alhamdulillah, I think modern days Muslims get rid of all these bad behaviors, if we can say that. Unfortunately, still we have some individuals, some people are very extreme when it comes to their own madhab. They are totally against what they don't know, or somebody don't believe or don't accept their madhab. I think it's also very important to mention that we should respect all the madhab, respect all the scholars, we respect their opinions. And this will lead me to today's episodes, which I think it's one of the most important issue that we face today. What is our position towards the scholars' difference of opinions? When the scholars have different opinions, how can we deal with that? And I think before answering these questions, you might raise another question, which is, why do the scholars have different opinions, first of all? Why they have different opinions? Why they don't agree in one thing that's said? Why these differences of opinions appeared, actually? Those who are not familiar with the Sharia and the Quran and Sunnah, they might be surprised and they might be shocked with the amount of ikhtilaf, amount of difference between the scholars sometimes related to the issues. As for example, when you look at the opinions which is related to defining the hour, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is period of time in Jumu'ah, in the day of Jumu'ah, there is a period of time in the day of Jumu'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept the supplication of any Muslim. To define which hour or which period of time is this, you will find more than 7 or 8 different opinions. Okay, when the Muslim can start shortening his prayer when he travel, when he will take the rules of the traveler, what's the distance, what's the time, you will find over 15 or 16 or even 20 different opinions when you study the fiqh and things like that. So when you will be faced with all these different opinions, you might ask yourself, why there is difference of opinions first of all? Isn't the Quran is one and the Sunnah is one? We have the Quran and Sunnah, so why is that? The first point, and I love what Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah ta'ala, Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a great book, it's called رفع الملام عن الأئمة الأعلام. In this book he brought all the excuses that he found for the scholars, and it will really give an excuses for them why they have difference of opinions. He explained reasons and he brought excuses for them, which is so, it's a very beautiful book, and I believe it's also been translated to English. It's called رفع الملام عن الأئمة الأعلام. Anyway, he started with very good point, Shaykh al-Islam. He said, first of all, you have to know and to understand this fact. There is no scholar who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is a real scholar, intend just to come up with an opinion different than others, just purposely like that. He did this intentionally. Just he want to be different. Nobody doing this just to become different or to differentiate himself from others or to stand out. No one ever said something unless he really believe in it. He really believe in it. Not for any other reason. Not for showing off. Because that's what we think about them. Two, the scholar might have a different opinions because their knowledge is different. Also, there's different level of knowledge. So maybe one scholar, he was not exposed to the same amount of narrations in hadith as other scholars had. That's why Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah used to tell Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, whenever you find a hadith, which is we're not aware of it or we don't know about it, maybe it's weak, there is a narrator, I'm not aware of it, and you know about them that they are weak or it's a strong narrations, I'm not aware of it, please let me know. Please let me know. Also, that's why you see Imam al-Shafi'i, when he moved from Iraq to Egypt, he changed a lot of his fatwa. Why? Not because people say this is a different community, a different situation. No. He changed a lot of his fatwa and he moved to Iraq because he was exposed to so many ahadith that he never saw in Iraq. He was not exposed to. He never heard about it. He was told about so many opinions and narrations that he didn't know about it when he was in Iraq. That's why he changed his fatwa based on the new knowledge that he received or gained. So sometimes there's different when it comes because one scholar, he didn't know about the hadith which is related to this subject. He might say his opinion and there is a hadith contradict what he said. Also, might the scholar think that this dalil or this proof is weak, or this has been abrogated, but other scholars believe it's authentic narration, or this verse was not abrogated. So that will cause a different opinions. And also, the scholar might think that this word in Arabic language means this. The other scholar think that this word in Arabic language means that, because the Arabic language is very wide. So maybe they have a different way of different interpretation for the word. And this is very common. This has happened to the Sahaba, to the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what do you expect to happen to the scholars who came way later after that? The point is, these difference of opinions, if it's based on textual evidence, based on knowledge, based on research, it's acceptable. But if it's not, it will not be acceptable. And alhamdulillah, as far as we know about our scholars, the famous scholars and imams, no one of them intentionally want to go against Al-Kitab wa Sunnah. You can see more points related to this issue in that book. There is a consensus, is an authority, and their difference, their consensus is an authority, the scholars. The scholars' consensus is an authority. And their differences in opinion is a mercy. That's what Ibn Qudama rahimahullah said. إجماعهم حجة قاطعة واختلافهم رحمة واسعة. It's a mercy because the ulama said when there is a lot of different of opinions and the different opinions is so strong between the scholars, the matter became easy. But imagine if there is only one opinion, it will be very hard on people. That's why Imam Malik, Imam Umar ibn Abdul Aziz said, I never wished that the Sahaba, they don't have a different of opinions. I never thought that Abu Bakr and Umar, all the Sahaba have one opinion. That means there is no way for anybody to develop the fiqh, develop the Islamic rules. If it's only one way and that's it. Because of these different of opinions shows us that the door is open for more discussion, That's the way of the early Muslim generations. That's why Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, when a man wrote a book, it's called the book of al-ikhtilaf, the book of differences. He brought that book to Imam Ahmad, said, this is the book I collect all the different opinions between the Sahaba. And I called the book of ikhtilaf, the book of differences. And Imam Ahmad said, I wish that you change the name to the book of mercy. The book of mercy. قال لعلك تجعله كتاب الرحمة بدل كتاب الاختلاف. Why? Because it's a mercy. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this ikhtilaf, this different opinions happen between the greatest scholars in the history of Islam, what about these modern days? Isn't it a sign or a proof for them, or a hint for them, that we deal with our differences in better manners, with more, being more patient with each other, and more acceptance for each other? Also, here it's a very important point. Is every scholar's opinion correct? We don't believe that. We don't believe that because the Prophet ﷺ said, إذا اجتهد الحاكم فأصاب وقال وإذا اجتهد الحاكم فأخطأ. The Prophet ﷺ said, when the judge or the scholar make ijtihad, he make his research, he give his opinion in issue, and it was correct, he will be reward 2 rewards, double rewards. One for him saying the right, and for his research. And he said, and if he make his opinion after, or he make a research, and he came to a wrong conclusion, wrong, the Prophet ﷺ said. So there is one right and one wrong. And this concept that all are correct, it's not acceptable in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا الضَّلَالِ. It's either falsehood or truth. It's either the falsehood or the truth. So you cannot say this, the truth can be multiplied, or there is more than one truth. It could be more than one truth if they don't contradict each other. But if it's either halal or haram. Also, this issue is very important to know, because we have some people promote that every opinion is correct, it doesn't matter, just pick and choose whatever you want. No, there's always right and always wrong. But the point, if the person did his research, did his homework as we say, and he based his opinion on knowledge, he will be rewarded for his researching and his opinion. But it doesn't mean that I follow his mistake. It doesn't mean that I follow his mistake. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of us. Here I come to the conclusion of my episode today. And inshallah I'll see you in the near future. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.